That in a minute.
But first, the strange but true story of the dream detective. Christopher Robinson foretells the future in his dreams. He accurately predicted the Twin Towers atrocity in New York on September the 11th, the murder of Jill Dando, and many, many more incidents, like the horrific air show accident he dreamt about in July 1993. Days later, this terrible plane crash took place at Fairford Airfield, where two planes collided head-on at 300 miles per hour. Well, mercifully, no one was hurt. Christopher is here now. Christopher, hello.
Hello.
I know that we're going to be crossing over to, well, we're going to be taking a live phone call from Arizona, where you've been taking part in some extraordinary scientific tests over there to prove the quite astonishing accuracy of what you're dreaming. But when did this? I know we've met you before. This didn't start at all until you were what, in your 30s?
Yeah, I was about 35 when it started.
And you've no idea why?
No, we don't have any idea why. And I mean, we speculate on all sorts of things, but no real idea.
What was your first precognitive dream?
The first one was Chernobyl, and then there was Lockerbie, and then it moved into 1989 when I was dreaming about IRA bombs and things going off all over the place. So from September '89, it was like every day.
And these dreams take different forms. Sometimes you're at the site of whatever's going to happen.
Yes.
Sometimes you're observing it.
Yeah, sometimes you're observing it. Sometimes you're taking the role of the people as well. So, I mean, in the early days, I would dream that somebody was going to be murdered, and in the dream, I was the one being killed. And that's quite frightening. And very quickly I realised, when you see on the news the next day or the day after that this has now happened and it wasn't you, you can get relaxed about that.
Yeah.
When you were at the University of Arizona, we'll be talking to the professor who supervised the tests on you there. It was a 10-day programme, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was it there that you had the dream in August about the Twin Towers?
Yes, I was there for a month, and there were 10 days of experiments during the month.
Yeah.
And on August the 11th, I got up in the morning and we went to like a little debriefing, and you video everything that you do and write it all down before you do the experiment. And I said, I don't even want to talk about what I dreamt last night. And he said, well, what was it? And I said, I was in New York and terrorists crashed planes into those Twin Towers.
Jeez.
It was just like being there.
And that was a matter, and that is a matter of record at the University of Arizona.
Yeah, there are lots of people there that know about this. Yes.
But I mean, the thing is, what you started doing now, you've worked with the police over here on several levels.
Very, very early on, because you can't see stuff like this without them being interested in you, never mind you interested in them. Right,
so you started with the police, but now, in fact, because of the astonishing accuracy of your dreams, you're now in touch with intelligence services.
Yeah, it moved up from the police. I haven't had much to do with the police since '96. It moved up to somebody in another department, and now I've got another department, not only here, but through the university and a department in Washington.
So you have a hotline, basically, and you know that these people will believe you. It's not a case of you knocking on a police station door and saying, you have to listen to me.
I'm not allowed to tell you who I've met, but if I was, you'd be amazed.
Well, in that case, why couldn't anything be done about the September the 11th?
Well, from our point of view at the university, it was just one dream that we didn't want to talk about,
No.
and we didn't
because of panic.
Because of because of all sorts of things.
But you did inform the authorities.
There was somebody who is connected to the authorities that was overseeing partly the experiment. But I don't know much about that. The professor would need to tell
One has to say there were many pieces of intelligence material pointing to the Twin Towers happening that were never acted on.
They actually arrested a man in Manila with the details of it in his pocket and didn't do anything.
I believe you also had a dream about this latest dirty bomb arrest in America.
Well, that's why one of the reasons I went to Washington was to try and focus on Washington, because I'd seen Washington as a target.
This is after you were in Arizona.
Yes, this was February.
They brought you over to...
I went over to Washington,
right, go on.
and I met with a lady there who works with an intelligence agency.
Yeah.
And we had sort of, I suppose, we had 2 weeks together, and I was seeing this incident that we thought was going to take place in Washington. So we did as much as we could to work on that. And then I came back, and I went back to Washington to meet some people, again, that are connected through the university. And we did some more work on it. And thank goodness they've arrested people.
And you were telling me earlier that although the actual arrest at O'Hare Airport, I think 8-9 days ago...
Wouldn't connect to me whatsoever.
Not directly, but you think there was an arrest
that led to that arrest? Yes, it might connect to something earlier.
Well, I mean, you know, when you actually listen to Christopher, you could be forgiven, I suppose, for thinking that he was in some way deluded or a fantasist. But so impressed were scientists at the University of Arizona after Christopher's numerous predictions came true that they performed a blind experiment on him over 10 days. And on the line from Arizona now is Professor Gary Schwartz, who conducted the study. Good morning, good evening, Professor Schwartz.
Good evening to you.
Hello. Can you tell us how he did, in other words, in these tests? How impressed were you by him?
To tell you the truth, I was, as a technical term, I was, quote, blown away by the accuracy. I was completely surprised. This experiment involved Christopher going to sleep each night and then dreaming about where he would be taken the next day. And he would record his dreams. All of this was recorded on digital videotape.
Yep.
And then the information, which was held in secret envelopes that were randomly sorted and were kept in California. An envelope would be opened in California, and I would be told for the first time where we were going.
Right.
So, at the time that this information was being received, of course, the truth was I had no idea where we were going to go on any given day. The same was with Christopher. And day after day, he received highly specific information that was related to the process of going to the site, information at the site, and then continued information for the rest of the day, even though the experiment was, so to speak, officially completed.
So in other words, he had lucid, logical, cogent dreams that the night before he was taken to a secret location of those locations. He saw in advance where he couldn't possibly have known consciously where he was going to be taken.
That's correct. Now, also, you should understand that if he had gotten, for example, even 5 out of 10 correct, it would have been extraordinary. And he was expecting that if he did well, that's what would happen. It just so happened that he was, quote, in the zone, you might say. He was very motivated, as was I, to push his talent to the extreme.
Professor...
And it turned out he was actually accurate 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Professor, what the heck is going on?
Well, of course, the truth is that nobody knows. However, it has been long known, actually throughout recorded history, that certain individuals have what are called precognitive dreams. That is, they can, quote, see the future. And the question has been, are they, quote, if you would, reading the minds of people who are potentially perpetrating a crime? Are they, quote, tapping into, information in the universe about past, present, and future in some sort of way? Or are they actually receiving intelligent assistance from people who have died, as well as more highly intelligent sources that would provide this information? And by the way, at this point, all the hypotheses are plausible.
Because we haven't got an answer. But of course, the question of whether you're receiving messages from either those who've passed on or those who are visualizing what they plan to do, such as planting a bomb, that's kind of blown away by the dreams that you have about accidental events, like two aircraft colliding.
Absolutely.
That's right. And also...
Very quickly, Professor, one last point from you, please.
Go ahead.
Yes, carry on. One last point from you, Professor, if you want to make your concluding point, please.
Yes. Well, one thing I would like to say is that just like I consider Christopher to be a, quote, Michael Jordan of the dream intelligence world. But remember, Michael Jordan, on the average, was only about 45% in his baskets. In a good game, he gets 60%. In a bad game, he gets 20%. And so you're never going to judge even a superstar athlete on how they do in any single test.
Okay.
Okay.
And so therefore, when you do an experiment with him, whether or not it, quote, works is not itself a scientific test.
Right.
It's just an evaluation, a demonstration.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. That is extraordinary. We're going to do something similar to that with you ourselves tonight. Yesterday we asked you if you would make yourself dream. I don't know how you do this, but if you could make yourself dream of a specific secret location to which we will take you today.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And did you do that?
I did.
And
whether it's right, we have to see.
Well, 10 out of 10 ain't bad so far.
No, I know.
Now you wrote down
I've written
what
the
you dreamed.
fundamentals of the dreams on some cards, which are in here.
Right. If you give those to us.
The original dream notes are back in my folder.
All right. Well, you've written down the essential information of what you saw in the dream.
The fundamental key words.
The key words, the key images. Okay. Have you done a drawing as well?
Yes, there are 2 drawings in there, if I remember.
Well, let's just sign the back of this envelope along the seal.
Because we have no idea what's in this envelope. We haven't opened it, and there you are. It's completely and utterly sealed up now.
Could you now put your
It's never
blindfold on,
there.
Yes.
please? Thank you. Polly, would you come forward? Polly, who's one of our researchers on the programme, is going to take you to the secret location,
Yes.
which isn't too far from here, but of course it could be one of hundreds. Here we are in South London, just south of the capital centre, and he can't hear anymore. Good. And Polly, you're going to take him there. We've got a car standing by. It could be one of any lotions in central London, correct?
Okay,
Polly, if
Polly.
you'd like to take him out, take him
I
by
think
the
he's
arm.
going to need a bit of
Mind
assistance because he
those
can't
microphones, hang on.
see. All right.
Okay, well done, Paul. Okay. And we will be going live to that secret location, which only one or two people on this programme know.
Not us.
Not us, towards the end of the programme. But 10 out of 10, he ought to have got it right. Okay, absolutely no predictions on who will be playing You Say We Pay later.